The underground parking lot was dimly lit, with flickering fluorescent lights casting eerie shadows across the cold concrete walls. Emily could feel her heart racing as she descended deeper into the bowels of the structure. The distant hum of the overhead lights was drowned out by the ominous echoes of her footsteps. It was late, and the once bustling parking lot now seemed like a desolate maze of parked cars and deserted spaces. Emily quickened her pace, the sound of her heels clicking against the pavement echoing in the empty corridors. She had parked her car on the far end, a decision she now regretted as she found herself navigating the labyrinthine structure alone. As Emily approached her car, she couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was watching her. Glancing around nervously, she fumbled for her keys. The air seemed to thicken, and a chilling breeze swept through the dimly lit expanse. Just as Emily reached her car and began unlocking the door, the lights above her flickered and went out, plunging the area into complete darkness. Panic set in, and Emily's breath caught in her throat. The only sound was the distant drip of water echoing through the empty concrete corridors. Suddenly, a soft whisper filled the air, barely audible over the rhythmic drip-drop of water. "Emily." She froze, her hand still on the car door handle. "Who's there?" she stammered, her voice barely audible. "Emily, help me." The voice seemed to come from the shadows themselves. Emily strained her eyes, trying to pierce the darkness. As her eyes adjusted, she saw a figure, barely distinguishable from the shadows, standing at the far end of the parking lot. Cautiously, Emily took a step forward. "Who are you? What do you want?" The figure remained silent, but its shape seemed to contort and shift in the darkness. Fear gnawed at Emily's insides, but a strange curiosity pushed her forward. She followed the sound of the voice, navigating through the maze of parked cars. As she approached the figure, the lights flickered back to life, revealing an empty parking lot. Emily stood alone, surrounded by the quiet hum of electricity. Confused and frightened, she hurried back to her car. But as she turned the key in the ignition, the radio crackled to life, emitting a distorted voice. "Help me, Emily. Trapped in the shadows below." The voice echoed through the car speakers, sending shivers down Emily's spine. She peeled out of the parking lot, leaving the underground maze behind. But the haunting voice lingered, a chilling reminder of the shadows that dwelled in the depths below. The underground parking lot was a subterranean world of dimly lit concrete, with rows of parked cars shrouded in darkness. Alex, a weary commuter, navigated through the labyrinth of pillars and empty spaces. The low hum of the ventilation system created an eerie undertone, echoing through the desolate structure. As Alex approached their car, a sense of unease settled in. The flickering fluorescent lights cast unsettling shadows that seemed to dance with a life of their own. The air felt heavy, and an unexplained chill ran down Alex's spine. Fumbling for the keys, Alex's attention was drawn to a distant sound, a faint, rhythmic tapping echoing through the parking garage. Ignoring it at first, Alex dismissed it as a random noise in the silence of the underground abyss. However, the tapping persisted, growing louder and more deliberate. Uneasy, Alex looked around, searching for the source of the ominous noise. The tapping seemed to be emanating from the darkest corner of the parking lot, where the feeble glow of a malfunctioning light barely reached. Compelled by a mix of curiosity and dread, Alex cautiously approached the shadowed corner. The tapping now sounded like footsteps, slow and deliberate. As Alex turned the corner, a figure came into view. A silhouette, barely illuminated by the dim light, stood hunched over a parked car. Its movements were erratic, as if it were searching for something. "Hey!" Alex called out, the words hanging in the cold air. The figure turned, revealing a face obscured by darkness. "Help me," it whispered, the words sending shivers down Alex's spine. "Help you with what?" Alex asked, but the figure remained silent, its form blending back into the shadows. Against better judgment, Alex took a step closer. The figure beckoned, and with each step, the fluorescent lights above flickered more violently. The air became dense, suffocating. Just as Alex was within arm's reach, the lights went out completely, plunging the parking lot into absolute darkness. Panic set in, and Alex's breath quickened. In the blackness, the only sound was the haunting echo of the figure's plea. "Help me, Alex, I'm trapped in the abyss below." A distant scream pierced the darkness, sending Alex staggering backward. The lights flickered back to life, revealing an empty parking lot once more. Heart pounding, Alex rushed back to the car, hands trembling as they fumbled with the keys. The engine roared to life, and Alex sped out of the underground depths, leaving the mysterious figure and the unsettling echoes behind. As Alex merged into the city streets above, a lingering sense of dread remained, a chilling reminder of the hidden horrors that lurked in the shadows below the surface. The underground parking garage was a dimly lit maze of concrete, where the echoes of footsteps reverberated through the desolate space. Mia, a late-night worker returning to her car, moved briskly through the rows of vehicles. The flickering fluorescent lights cast eerie shadows on the walls, creating a disconcerting atmosphere. As Mia approached her car, a faint unease settled over her. The air seemed to thicken, and the distant hum of the ventilation system created an eerie backdrop. Her steps quickened, and she fumbled for her keys, eager to escape the oppressive ambiance. Just as Mia reached her car door, a strange sensation gripped her. It was as if the shadows themselves were watching, conspiring to keep her in the subterranean depths. She shook off the feeling, attributing it to fatigue and imagination, but the unease persisted. As she inserted the key into the lock, a distant whisper echoed through the garage. "Mia." She froze, her hand on the car door handle. The whisper came again, a soft, haunting call that seemed to emanate from the shadows. "Help me, Mia." Panic surged through her veins, but curiosity compelled her to investigate. She followed the ethereal voice, weaving through the parked cars and pillars. The whisper grew louder, leading her to a dimly lit corner of the garage. There, in the shadows, a figure materialized. It stood hunched over, facing away from her. Mia's voice trembled as she spoke. "Who are you? What do you want?" The figure turned slowly, revealing a face obscured by darkness. "Help me, Mia. I've been waiting for you." The parking garage lights flickered ominously, casting the figure in intermittent darkness. Mia hesitated, her instincts urging her to flee, but a strange compulsion urged her forward, as if an invisible force guided her every step. The figure extended a hand, its fingers elongated and skeletal. Mia could now see eyes gleaming in the shadows, filled with an otherworldly despair. "Join me in the depths," it implored. The air grew colder, and Mia felt a sense of dread enveloping her. She turned and ran, the echoes of the figure's plea haunting her every step. The flickering lights intensified, casting grotesque shadows that seemed to reach out for her. Gasping for breath, Mia reached her car, unlocked the door, and sped out of the underground abyss. The echoes of the haunting voice lingered, leaving her questioning the thin line between reality and the supernatural. As she emerged into the cool night air, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that something malevolent still lingered in the depths below. A chilling presence that would forever taint the memory of the subterranean parking garage.